Stories are a very powerful way for us to understand life, to pass on traditional information and wisdom. And we have an excellent storyteller that I'm going to share with you today, and that is Mother Earth, Gaia. Things have so changed energetically in our world here on the earth, our 8 dimensions, our 8 galactic worlds, that she's stepping up with new stories and new invitations. So I'm sharing her with you today. There once was a family who had gotten trapped in some very bad ideas. As you may know, ideas are the beginning of what will grow into many forms. The idea may grow with thorns or flowers. It may produce nectar or poison. Ideas have no intention on their own and so cannot become something contrary to the intention of those who created the idea. So this wonderful family had let ideas that seemed fun and expansive to be brought in the door of their home and placed on a shelf in their pantry. Within the quiet and the darkness of the pantry, the idea began to do what ideas do. It began to radiate and extend its harmonics into the living spaces of the home. The ideas that I am speaking of were concepts created by intelligent beings who had agendas they kept hidden from the family. Their ideas emerged from their agenda. And those hidden agendas spoke of capturing the energy, the creations, the light of our poor family, you see. Now, if the family had known the truth, if they were given a choice based on full disclosure, our family would have made a different choice. They would have kept their doors locked, their property secured, and continued filling their life with beauty and gifts that brought benefit to all. For that is who they were. Alas, that is not the story I am here to tell. For they were given colorful words that hid the deceptive agenda behind the ideas. One such idea was, oh, you're doing such good, and yet you're quite young. You're not enough yet. Now, we've been around a lot longer. Let us come in and we'll direct your actions. We'll make things happen better. And so this family chose to open the door, and within minutes, I'm afraid, the handcuffs were on and they were forced to create in order to fill the bellies of these deceptive outsiders. Well, you all know about parasitics. Whatever host parasites attach themselves to is now fueling and feeding the parasite. Eventually, there's no life force within the host. They are sucked dry and are left like a husk. The dried up host is then tossed away as the parasite goes in search of a new, juicier host. Now, fortunately, our original family quickly realized the mess they were in and tried many things to remove those outsiders. However, the outsiders opened the doors to their buddies, their cousins, to their cohorts, and the outsiders gained ownership, like a master, over a plantation of slaves working for the master. As our trapped family looked around, they realized that they were not the only family that had been captured. As the situation became more and more dire, the trapped families found ways to communicate and plan. Many are better than one, right? So it seemed. But the downward slide continued. Fast forward to a time when the families knew they were on the edge of a great precipice. They had little energy left because their life force was being used by parasitics, and it would flicker out, and down into the great abyss they would tumble. And that is where I come into the picture, and you too, for that matter. You may not remember, in fact, you probably don't remember, our last ditch effort to save our families. It is that plan that brought us together in the physical bodies we now inhabit. You in a bodysuit called human, me in a bodysuit called Earth. Although your memories are held deeply in your bones, my memories are alive and well in all of my children. The water, the fire, the air, the mountains, the stones, the sands, the trees, the roots. The assignment that my collective agreed to was to be the home, hold the resources, provide the space for you in human bodysuits to walk, to unravel the mystery, to be held, while you fulfilled on the assignments you agreed to. It's been a very long, long journey. A journey that has not been anything like we had thought. And yet it was one that we ought to have anticipated. Trapped is trapped. Owned is owned. We ought to have known that those deceptive parasitics would use our energy, our light, our love to fuel their intense commitment to keep us trapped. And the more they used, the less we had to fuel our stand. And here we are, another precipice, or not. To awaken a desire to know your beginnings, you need only look into the eyes of your children and feel your heart ache for their safety. To find the courage to find your roots, you need only feel the pain as you look out over the world in its rush into war and greed. To deepen your commitment to plant your feet onto the earth and say, no more. You need only acknowledge the heavy sense of insanity and powerlessness that many lie down with each night. Have you sensed the emptiness around you, within you? Your children are ready to live in new ways. And my question to all of you, my sisters, is, are you ready to help them? This is a time of change. It can begin with a harvest, an evaluation. Where are you? What has happened in your life? What, where, and when will you begin new? That's my invitation to you today. Blessings.